I woke up with a little song in my heart. I woke up with a little bop on my heart. It was like the best part of waking up is purpose in my cup. Hey, I woke up with a little bop on me. It was like the best part of waking up is obedience in my cup. Come on. I woke up like, without an alarm, just woke up excited. The best part of waking up is faith all in my cup. Let's talk about cups right quick. Let's talk about cups. Listen, it's so crazy. One of the things that people say all the time is like, I want to be in overflow, right? I want my cup to be full with everything that I need. And then I want to be able to give from my overflow. Let's talk about overflow today. The best part of waking up. Listen, I had a video go viral, and in that video, I was talking about things outside of the kitchen and the gym that truly impacts your health. And in that video, several of you have seen it. I talked about three distinct things. I said, if you really want to optimize your health and if you really want to become a 12 out of 10, then you want to also prioritize sleep. I said, you also want to prioritize eliminating chronic stress. And then finally, I said, you also want to prioritize living in your purpose. I talked about how purpose heals. And in this clip, when I said that, I started getting a ton of comments and questions, both publicly on the post and privately in my DMs, where people are like, how do I find my purpose? How do I find my purpose? I like what you said about purpose heals. I believe you, but I don't know my purpose. And so I was like, okay, say less. Let's talk about it. And so here we are talking about it. I'm going to share with you guys how I found my purpose, and based on where you are, how you can too, because I cannot overstate how much purpose heals. Because listen, you wake up with a bop in your spirit. The best part of waking up is purpose in your cup. Like, what's the best part of waking up for you? Let's start with a question. What's the best part of waking up for you? Like, I realized this morning. I had like just a quick little revelation, if you will. You know what I mean? A quick little divine download. I'm like, dang, like no matter what, like I can get up early without an alarm. And not only do I get up early without an alarm, I get up with enthusiasm. Right. I get up with excitement. I was like, oh, it's Monday. I'm going live on YouTube and Instagram today. I get to talk my talk today. I get to add value today. I get to take the divine downloads that God gave me and give them to y'all today. Like, I'm excited about being in service. I'm excited about running my company. I'm excited about coaching clients. I'm excited about a speaking engagement coming up. Like, I'm excited. And I'm like, this is really the best part of waking up. I'm like, Folgers had it all wrong. They had it all wrong. I'm so excited. And so immediately after having that thought, the next thought I had was, man, so many people are not excited. Like, for some people, the best part of waking up is like coffee and pastries. For some people, the best part of waking up is like foolishness. They can't wait to scroll on social media, or they can't wait to look and read some nonsense. Like, for some people, the best part of waking up is like being able to be in somebody else's business, like, rumors and gossip and celebrity news and junk and trash TV. And for some people, the best part of waking up is bacon and butter, artery clogging mess, right? And so I want to have a conversation with you guys today so that we can make sure that for you, the best part of waking up is your purpose. That for you, the best part of waking up is being obedient. For you, the best part of waking up is living your whole life based on faith and an understanding that you ain't controlling everything and things will always work out for you as long as you're obedient. I want to make sure the best part of waking up for you is the mastery of the understanding that faith gives you favor. And as long as you are obedient, you will always have favor. So let's talk about it, because people have been asking me in my DMs, publicly on their viral posts, how do I find my purpose? How do I find my purpose? I don't know what it is. Okay. So when I was thinking about this question, right, I've answered this question in a number of ways, and I'm going to share those things with you today. But in answering this question, I realized something. I realized that there were two groups of people. There's two camps of people who ask me this question. Now, a lot of times, people don't know which camp they're in. Everybody thinks they're in the first camp, honestly. So when people say, "Lisa, how do I find my purpose?" There's two camps, but everybody thinks they're in camp number one. Okay, everybody thinks they're in camp number one. And so when I was thinking about this, I was like, let me break it down and let me make sure I tell them there are two lanes you can be in when it comes to your purpose. And then I'll tell you how to navigate each lane, tell you how to navigate each camp. Okay. It's very simple. When it comes to how do I find my purpose, there's two camps of people. There is the I haven't found it yet people. I haven't found it yet. And that's the camp that everybody thinks they're in, right? So the first camp is I haven't found it yet. I haven't found my purpose. The second camp is I don't know where I left it. Okay. I haven't found it. I don't know where I left it. Now, everybody thinks they're in the I haven't found it yet camp. Everybody thinks when they ask me, how do I find my purpose? I'm not sure what my purpose is. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. They're all assuming that they're in the I haven't found it yet camp. However, I have the pleasure of running a coaching company full time, right? And we have several programs at my coaching company. And all of our programs will require an application because I like to get to know people before we let them into the ecosystem. And so through that application, they have to go through a suitability interview to work with us. And so I get to have private one-on-one conversations with individuals. And through these private one-on-one conversations is where I discovered the camp number two. I don't know where I left it. See, everybody thinks they don't know their purpose and they haven't found their purpose. That's what they think when they ask the question. But through these private conversations that I have with our prospects and our future clients, just a few sentences into the conversation, I realized that it's not that they don't know their purpose, they don't know where they left it. Here's what I mean. After a few questions, so let's take our Farm to Table plant-based coaching program, for example. People apply for that program, they fill out the application. If it looks good, they get invited to the suitability interview. And during that suitability interview, I ask them about, of course, their health goals. But then I ask them, if we achieve your health goals together, what do you want to do with this health? Like, how are we going to leverage this health? Like, what's the ultimate goal, right? And they sometimes try and sell me a lie about, I don't know. But after a little more probing, a little more poking, they start spilling it all. Well, I've always had this vision and this dream of starting this nonprofit. I talked to a phenomenal woman the other day who just enrolled in Farm to Table. She had this beautiful vision about what she wanted to do in the real estate industry. And she just loves real estate. She loves houses. And she has this big vision of this offer that she wants to make in the real estate. And I thought it was brilliant. But it's so funny. Right before she shared that with me, she started telling me that she didn't know what her purpose was. She was like, I saw your video on YouTube where you was talking about purpose and how purpose heals. I don't know what my purpose is. And then literally less than 3 minutes later into the conversation, she was sharing with me this big dream and vision she had about real estate. This conversation, I've probably had the exact same conversation over and over again over the years with numerous people, where first they will start the conversation saying they don't know what their purpose is. And then a few minutes into it, they start telling me, well, I did have this vision of becoming a health coach and starting a wellness center and starting a holistic services for people in need. Like, they have all of the, I'm like, I thought you didn't know. So there is that camp of people, and they don't know that they're in that camp of I don't know where I left it until I remind them of the thing they've always been thinking about, dreaming about, and envisioning. So here's the first assignment. Here's the first takeaway for you guys. Some of you are out here saying, I don't know what my purpose is, meaning I haven't found it yet. But for the majority of you, that is not true. For the majority of you, it is, I don't know where I left it, meaning I had a vision, I had a desire, I had an idea maybe many years ago, but I kept pushing it down, or I kept telling myself stories about I'm not enough. And now is not the time. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough resources. I'm not good enough. I gotta wait until the kids do this. I gotta wait until I finish that. I gotta wait until this is paid off. I gotta wait. So you've been telling yourself so many stories about why it's not possible that you have just decided that that wasn't what you were supposed to do. You have just decided that it must be something else must be meant for you. When the truth of the matter is, you already know what the thing is. The thing you have mastered is disobedience. So when people come to me and say, Lisa, you talk about purpose and you say you found your purpose, and I don't know how to find my purpose, I will challenge you. I will challenge you to think about what you have stopped entertaining. You know, Steve Harvey says something, many of you have probably heard it. You know, he talked about how your imagination is just our previews. Like your imagination is God giving you previews to your future. Kind of like how, you know, we go to the theater and to see a movie and to see a film and we see previews before we see the main feature film. Your imagination and the things you have thought about and dreamt about and fantasized about and maybe even started planning a little bit, that is the thing. Like you got it already, but you have set it down because you've been telling your stories about it being impossible, unachievable. You've been telling yourself stories about you not being not enough, you're not qualified, it's not the right time, or you've been telling yourself stories about lack. I don't have enough. And you fill in the blank of what your enough is. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough education or certifications. I don't have enough of something. And I tell people all the time, if for any reason something don't work out for you in your life, it's not because there wasn't enough of something. I don't know where all this lack comes from. If ever something doesn't work out for you in your life, it's not because there was a lack of anything. It's not because there was a lack of anything. If there was a lack of anything, it was a lack of belief on your part. That's it. Everything else is available in abundance. So if there is a lack of anything, it is a lack of belief on your part. And so what happens is I talk to these individuals and they inevitably start telling me, well, yeah, I did want to come out with my own product line. I did. I remember talking to this lady one time who was like, I want to come out with my own clothing line for plus size women who want to do fitness, who are in love with fitness like me. She's like, I think she said she run marathons or she was like a triathlete. It was something amazing that I would never do. Okay. I'm like, I'll pass out water at those events. Like I'm good for that. I'll do a little sign up table. But no, I'm good on the marathon. I'm good on triathlon. Like y'all are so dope, right? But anyway, I remember talking to her and she being like, I want to come out with a fitness line for plus size women who actually engage in these extreme sports because, you know, the clothes they think everybody's small who do those events. And I'm like, that's brilliant. But I haven't done it. It's been years. I've been thinking about this for years. Meanwhile, I don't know what my purpose is. Like what? Okay. So there's one group of you who are essentially lying. You're lying to me and you're lying to yourself. It's not that you don't know what to do. You don't know. It's not that you don't have any ideas. It's not that you're not sure what you're called to. It's just that you have stopped entertaining your imagination. You stop entertaining your imagination, right? And so when you start re-entertaining, re-engaging your imagination and allowing yourself to go there, then you will essentially find there is something that lights you up. There is something that will make you excited to get out of bed in the morning. There, you do have something for which can become the best part of waking up for you. The best part of waking up is purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop lying. Some of y'all just need to stop lying. Like I got in my mastermind, like when I tell you I could tell these stories for days, in my mastermind, I had a client. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what that thing is for me. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. 5 minutes in the conversation. Well, I did want to start this nonprofit for children to take them on trips and help them see the world and expose them to the world so that they can start dreaming. I said, what? How long you had that inside? About 20 years. Meanwhile, she's in my mastermind, got me about to go into a whole coaching session about how to find your purpose when really you just don't know where you left it. Okay, so there's two camps of you guys. I can't find it. I haven't found it yet versus I don't know where I left it. So figure out, where did you leave your purpose? Did you leave it on the shelf when you were trying to finish that degree? Did you leave it in that last relationship when you let that person make you feel like you weren't enough and completely squash your confidence? Where did you leave your last idea? It ain't that you haven't found it. You just don't know where you left it. Where did you leave your last idea? Did you leave it on that job with that boss who used to always embarrass you or intimidate you or make you feel like you wasn't smart and micromanaged you, and then they made you lose your confidence in your ability to do anything, execute anything, start anything, grow anything? Like, where did you leave it? It ain't that you never found it. Like, stop the lies. Stop it. You got a night. Where did you leave it? Did you leave it in your childhood when your parents forced you to go to school for something totally different because they told you the thing you was dreaming about, you would never be able to make it in that? Where did you leave it? It's not that you haven't found it. You see what I'm saying? So let's revisit some things. Let's start re-entertaining our imagination. And before I get to camp, the other camp, those of you who truly haven't found it, let me say this. It's important when you commit to entertaining your imagination again, when you decide to start entertaining your imagination again, that is going to take some work, because many of you have started making your desires conditional. So that means, like, I know what I want, but I won't allow myself to go there. I won't allow myself to dream. I won't allow myself to think about it. I won't even allow myself to get happy at the prospect of it because it seems so impossible to me. Like, a lot of my students have done this. Like, I won't allow myself to dream, to fantasize, to think about, or even to say out loud. God forbid you ask somebody to say something out loud. They like, that's committing a cardinal sin. I can't say my dreams and desires out loud. That's too much. Like, I'm like, okay, right. But when you start saying it out loud, when you start writing it down, when you start allowing your brain to go there and really start entertaining your imagination again, let me warn you how this can be hard. You would think imagination will be easy, but I have found, especially for Black women, that imagination is a heavy lift. Like, allowing yourself to imagine a life you got when you got these couple kids, a partner, a whole career, bills and responsibilities to think about. Like, how's that possible, Lisa? And I got all this other stuff going on. We won't even. I'm like, I'm not here to talk about how it's possible. I'm just here to start re-entertaining your imagination, because where your focus goes, your energy flows. And so if we start refocusing on the thing that at one point has sparked joy in us, you will be surprised with all of us. Oceans and seas start parting ways. All of a sudden, crazy miracles start happening when you allow yourself to entertain the thing that you've since put down and put away, because you've decided that it's not possible, because you decided that there's no way, because you decided that there's not enough of something. I'm like, where your focus goes, your energy flows. And so let's just focus back on that real estate dream. Let's just focus back on that fitness apparel dream. Let's just focus back on that book. Let's focus back on that nonprofit for those kids. Like, let's focus back on the thing that you once was excited about. Okay. So some of y'all just need to stop lying. That's all it is. Look at y'all acting up on YouTube. Yes. Anthony's so dope. Anthony said, your purpose will keep returning to you in hopes that you will respond. Come on now. You know, it's knocking. You just won't answer the door. Like, nope, that can't be it. It must be something else. Let me go ask Lisa. Let me go ask 10 other people. The thing that I've been thinking about for years, that can't be it. Deidre said, Deidre says, I feel so seen and should. Wink, wink. You know what I'm saying? So I need you guys to understand that for many of you, it's not a matter of how do I find my purpose? It's a matter of where did I leave it? Where do I leave it? You had ideas and dreams once upon a time, and you let something or someone convince you that it wasn't going to work, that you weren't good enough, that there wasn't enough of something, and you decided to just live a safe life. You live a safe life. You know, it's before I get into this final camp and help you guys who actually do need to find your purpose. You know, I was thinking about recently, my life is about to get even more busy than it is right now. We have an opportunity as a company that I'm really, really excited about. And this opportunity is a lot of responsibility, and it's going to be a bit of an undertaking, and I'm really, really excited about it. And I think one of the things I'm most excited about is that I probably won't have any more Groundhog Days. You know how you guys might have, like, you get kind of in a routine and it becomes a little monotonous. Like, although I do different things every day in my business, like none of my days are exactly the same from a micro standpoint, but from a macro standpoint, they're pretty much the same. Like, wake up, pray, meditate, my mastermind call, work out, get in my office, get to work, then wrap up the day with like it's usually that over and over and over again, right? But with this new opportunity that I have, like I'm not gonna have days like that anymore. It's about to be so different. Like I got this opportunity. It's one of the first opportunities I've had in a long time where I got to be in person somewhere on a semi-regular basis. And then I'll also be traveling a lot more too. And so I'm like, man, ain't gonna be no more Groundhog Days. Like my weeks and my days are about to look like extremely different from one another. And it is that level of excitement. I think for some of us, we've gotten into like this Groundhog Day routine where everything is kind of looking the same and feeling the same. And for many people, they feel a lack of fulfillment. And part of that comes from disobedience. Like living a life of radical obedience just puts your name in rooms that your feet haven't stepped foot in and positions you for opportunities that you never would have thought about or asked for. And it in your life becomes so much more dynamic. So if I needed to drill this point into the ground even more, it would be to help you guys to understand that when you start entertaining your imagination again, and when you allow your desires and your wants and your visions, when you allow yourself to start thinking about them again, and when you allow yourself to um, stop deciding what is or isn't possible, when you stop trying to be God, you know what I'm saying? Like if you just stop trying to be God and just be you, like just be Regina, like just be Lisa, like just be Anthony, like just be, you know what I'm saying? Just be Karen, like when we stop trying to be God, meaning we keep trying to decide what is and isn't possible. We keep on trying to decide how much is and isn't available. We keep on trying to decide when, where, and how. Like we just trying to control the whole situation. Like when we just revert back to being who we are and let God be God, your life changes in a ton of ways. And for me, one of those ways is that I get rid of this semi-regular groundhog experience. That's why I always have to keep like events booked on my calendar, because I'm like, we got to mix this up. Like I need somebody to throw a little monkey wrench in this routine, right? So I'm like going to a couple concerts this weekend that I'm excited about, and like there's like when you really start living a life of radical obedience, your life just becomes so much more dynamic, so much more dynamic. And so if that is you, where you feel like if you feel like this, what I'm doing day in and day out is unsustainable, I'm either bored or lonely or unfulfilled or like feeling like not enough or whatever, start re-entertaining your imagination and watch what happens. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. So let me talk to that first camp of people. Before I hop off, the camp that everybody thinks they're in. I haven't found my purpose yet, because most of y'all, that's not it. Like, but I'll entertain a one or two of y'all for whom it must be true. Okay. So how did I find my purpose? Okay. Very simply, I remember the very first time I was radically obedient. The very first time I can recall being radically obedient, it was in 2012. I was working as a social worker for the state of Michigan. I was a foster care worker. So I was responsible when Child Protective Services, took the kids out of the home because of whatever conditions. I was responsible for coming in as a foster care worker and working with the family to hopefully reunite the kids with their biological parents, right? That's what I was responsible for, right? And I didn't like it. Okay, I didn't like it. It's good, wholesome, honorable work that was not meant for me. Let me say that again for some of y'all who are doing wholesome work. Okay, you might be doing wholesome work in some type of system for kids or seniors or in ministry. It was good, wholesome work that wasn't for me. Let's be clear. Sometimes we have guilt about not wanting to do the things that it's like in service to others. Like, no, you get to choose how you're in service. You get to choose your in service, right? It's just like when the people at Whole Foods be like, do you want to round up your order to donate to the children's hospital? No, I don't. I don't choose to be in service in that way. Run my 21 cent lady. You know what I'm saying? I'm so sick of us being pressured into, anyway. soapbox. Lisa, get back on track. Okay. So I was doing good, wholesome work that wasn't for me as a foster care worker. Now, here's what I knew. I knew I wanted to travel the world, and I knew I wanted to travel the world on somebody else's dime, because who don't, right? And so I thought at that time that the best way to do it was to get a federal government job. I was working for the state government, okay? But I'm like, well, the federal government is the one who will send you all over the world and pay for your joint. So I started applying for federal internships with the State Department at the US government. So I got one, right? I got a reply, and they, I went through this super long application process, and they were like, congratulations, you've been selected to, work at the United States Embassy. Now, when I filled out the application, they asked like, what cities, like I think they gave a list of cities that you could choose from all over the world. And my first choice was Rome, Italy. And I got my first choice of like, you've been selected to work at the United States Embassy in Rome, right? And I was like, what? So here's what happened though. I then had to go to my boss at my state job, and I'm like, hey, I got selected to do this internship. I need some time off, because I'm like, it was a 10 to like 3-month internship. So I was going to be moving to Italy for 3 months. However, it wasn't, there was no guarantee of a long-term position at the end of it. So I wanted to make sure I had my job when I came back to Michigan, right? But for sure, Michigan was like, no, we're not going to give you time off and guarantee your job, right? And so now I had a decision to make. I was in a bit of a pickle. I'm like, okay, I can go work this internship with no pay, by the way. It was an unpaid internship. It just happened to be in one of the most beautiful cities in the world. But it was an unpaid internship. And at the end of that internship, I had no idea if I took it, how I was going to make money. I've been working for the state of Michigan for years, had a decent salary, benefits, all the stuff y'all like to say is worth keeping a job that you hate. Shots fired. Okay. And so I'm like, dang, like, do I stay? Do I stay at this job and just turn down the internship and turn down seeing the world because I'm worried about money? Or do I take a chance on myself? You guys already know what happened, right? So I, of course, told the job, okay, if you're not going to hold the job for me, neither will I. I quit. And I, of course, moved to Rome, Italy. And that is the first time I can recall being radically obedient, meaning, let me tell you how I define radical obedience. So I talk about radical obedience all the time. I personally live a life of radical obedience, and it's what I help my students do as well in my mastermind, in our Farm to Table plant-based coaching program, help them live a life of radical obedience. And so we define radical obedience as complete surrender, radical, complete obedience, surrender, as the complete surrender to one's calling, despite the presence of fear and uncertainty. The complete surrender despite the presence of fear and uncertainty. In this case, for me, it wasn't fear, but it was absolutely uncertainty. I had no idea how I was going to pay for stuff, right? Somebody on, let's see, Ancient Healing Root on Instagram says, were they giving you a place to live? No, girl. Listen, they were like, you got the internship. Everything else is on you. You need to find a place to live in Italy, even though you don't speak Italian. You need to figure out how you're going to eat for these 3 months. You need to figure out everything on your own. You will not be getting a salary, but you will get this experience. You will be working at the United States Embassy and the federal government abroad. You will be like rubbing shoulders with diplomats. You absolutely will be, but you got to fund the whole experience yourself. The flight over there, the flight back, your apartment, every transportation to and from everything, right? Everything. And so I had to figure all that out, and I did. Because what y'all not going to tell me is that I can't go live my dream for some funky job where there's more than one where that came from. Like what? Like I'm employable. You feel me? Like what? So, like what is we doing? So I left, and that's the very first time I remember being radically obedient, and it worked out in that one thing led to another. I got over there. I got super excited. I had just happened to be on my health journey at the time, losing weight in the midst of losing weight. And so I was still working out when I was in Italy. And by the end of that internship, I knew that I wanted to go into the health and wellness space. And so but I also knew that I wasn't ready to come back to the United States. And so I was like, when I get back home, I got to figure out how to get the heck back out of America again, right? Yeah, everybody know America, look ghetto. And sure enough, I'm like, okay, I hear that you can make money by teaching English. I went and got certified to teach English as a second language right quick at a local university, got my butt back out of here and moved to China. Like, I'm like, all right, what's up? You know what I mean? And then it led to me becoming a personal trainer, and it led to me starting my first health and wellness company in 2015, my second in 2017. Like, let me tell y'all something. So for me, my point here is, before I get off on the random soapbox tangent, my point here is me finding my purpose really started with me taking chances and surrendering to experiences. So when people ask me, how do I find my purpose? And if I believe that you really don't know what it is, like you have no idea that you've sat down somewhere, you haven't stopped entertaining your own imagination, you're just really like, I have no idea. My advice to them always is experiences and exposure will always position you for the next thing. And that will eventually lead, like, it is doing more things is the answer. And so it's not about how do I find my purpose. It's really about how do I position myself for my purpose to find me. So it's not something you have to go out here and, look for or spend, like, quote unquote, finding your purpose is so fun because it's just about having a crap ton of experiences to see what you like, what you don't like, and to discover who you truly are, right? It wasn't until I started my first company in 2015, it was Fit Camp 360 at that time, that I discovered my gift of speaking. What? I had no idea before then, but we did our first live event for our clients in 2016. And my best friend told me, she was like, I hope you know that that's your, she saw me come off a stage and she was like, that's your gift. And I was like, what? She's like, no, that's your gift. And ever since then, I've been honing my gift. I've been on here talking to you guys. I started my own live monthly speaking engagement in 2017 and did that for 5 years. Like, soon as somebody told me, like, that's what you're good at, I went and just started putting gasoline on it. Like, oh, I'm about to do it relentlessly for as long as I can to refine it and become the best at it. And look at me now. Hey, look at me now. You feel me? So it is doing more things. So here's, how do I find my purpose? You do the exact thing that's scaring the heck out of you. How do I find my purpose? You say yes when somebody invites you to that event that doesn't sound like anything you would be into. How do I find my purpose? You apply for that internship and say yes when they say you got it, but they ain't gonna pay for nothing and you got to figure it out. How do I find my purpose? You surrender to the things that you've been shying away from. How do I find my purpose? You stop trying to live a safe life. You stop wearing all black. You know what I mean? You let things get a little colorful, and that's how your purpose finds you. It is just a matter. You find your purpose, or your purpose finds you through a plethora of lived experiences. That's it. It's just a plethora of lived experiences. And on the outside looking in, it will look like this melting pot of nonsense. Let me warn you, it is not going to be succinct, and it's not going to be very clear that one thing connects to the other. What sense did it make for me to go from social work to interning at the U.S. Embassy, to become a teacher teaching English as a second language, to then becoming a fitness trainer, to then finally getting into plant-based nutrition? Like, it will look like nothing is connected. You will feel like you're all over the place. It will feel disjointed as heck. But that is how your purpose finds you, through book the trip, say yes to the conference. Like, you never know what's going to hit. Like, go to the summit, go to the conference. You got somebody that you like and you watch them speak all the time. Like, I was on a suitability interview on Saturday for somebody who applied for our business accelerator, right? And I've never had anybody ask me this at the end of the interview. And it wasn't a super dynamic question, but it was interesting. She's like, do you have any live events coming up? And I was like, what you mean? Right? She's like, you got anything that you're doing? I was like, well, we're going to do this thing in 2025, but nothing like immediately in the remainder of 2024. I was like, we got some live virtual events. I'm like, we're about to kick off a series of master classes that I'll be teaching monthly and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, nothing in person. And I'm like, no, nothing in person. And she's like, dang, I want to come see you live. And I was like, dang, I've never had anybody say that before. Like, that's literally how your purpose finds you. You start increasing your proximity to the people you're attracted to. That's what I did with my coach. Like when I first started seeing ET, I went to I'm like, where he gonna be? He about to be in Chicago? I'm going to Chicago. He about to be in Atlanta? I'm going to Atlanta. He about to do this live online summit? I'm on an online summit. Oh, he about to do this retreat in Mexico? I'm there. And it was at that retreat in Mexico that I signed up for his mastermind. And now ET's my coach and friend. Like, can call him right now. What up, E? Right? I just increased my proximity to the people I was attracted to. And that's how I started discovering more and more about myself. That's how I started discovering more and more about what I like, what I don't like. That's how I just started discovering more and more about what I'm good at naturally versus what I got to work on a little more. Like what y'all seeing right now is Angelica. This is my alter ego. Like I'm not an extrovert naturally, but I've been able to refine Angelica so much that it appears that I'm natural at this. This is just refinement, right? But that comes from me putting myself in rooms that maybe were a little scary, or me doing things that seem like I would like, okay, let's go mountain climbing. Let's go, like, I do events. I have experiences. I book tickets to stuff. Like, you just never know what's going to hit you. We went to a museum recently. We have a Motown museum here in Detroit. And born and raised in Detroit, just went to the Motown Museum for the first time in 2024. Don't judge me. Okay. So during the museum tour, they had a video that you watch at the beginning of the tour that kind of gives you the history on like Berry Gordy and like kind of how he really got started with Motown Records. Right. And Berry Gordy in that video was talking about why they don't close. He's like, we create music, we create records for a living. He's like, but we're open 24/7. Like, you would think that we would have business hours, right? You would think it would be like, we're open from this time to this time. But he's like, we're not really a record company. He said, we're a creative company and you can't turn off creativity. And I was like, what, Barry? What'd he say? I whipped out my phone and I wrote it down so quick because I'm like, yes, that's what my coaching company is. I'm like, we are a creative company. Like, we are creators. We are not blah, blah. And I'm like, and I took notes, and it enhanced the way I look at my business, and it enhanced the way I approach my work. I might not have got that nugget had I not went to the museum and saw the video from Berry Gordy. I'm just saying, experiences, you never know where you're going to get that spark, where you're going to get that divine download, where you're going to get that next idea. And so your purpose finds you, but it can't find you in the house under a rock, being safe, wearing all black all the time because you don't want to be seen. You really think it hides you. It finds you when you're literally in the world doing things, meeting new people, shaking hands, kissing babies, and everything doesn't have to cost money. Like, I'm not telling you got to travel 20 states away for your purpose to find you. It can be in your own backyard, but what's going on in your own backyard that you are like shying away from? Like, so do more things. How do I find my purpose? Do more things. Do more things. Like, Lisa's about to have this masterclass. It's at 7 p.m. on a Wednesday. That's where I usually watch my favorite show and turn down. I'll just watch the recording. Except she said that she's going to be a part of the class, that they're not going to record the special Q&A. But that's not my regular Wednesday routine. I'm so pressed about sticking to my regular routine that I don't want to deviate out of my regular routine because I'm so type A. But she's only teaching it once a month and it's never coming back around. Show up. Y'all got it. Like, everybody's so married to what you're used to doing. Why would somebody have my sister's birthday was yesterday, and she had a little get together, and it was a Sunday night. And mind you, she didn't plan to have a get together. Like, she didn't plan it until like 3 hours before. Just sent out a text message like, hey, we about to do a bonfire for my birthday. As I was leaving last night, people were still showing up. I'm like, this is wild. As crazy as people be complaining about, no, we got to work tomorrow. We can't hang out on a Sunday night. We got to work tomorrow. We can't go to a show on a Monday night. I'm going to a show this week on a Thursday evening. That's unheard of for some people. Shows are only for Saturday night when you don't have to work the next day. If y'all would divorce y'all routine and just start living life and stop thinking like it can only fit into these boxes for me to do it, I promise you life would change for you. I promise you life would change for you. right? So your purpose, you don't find it, it finds you, and you find it through a plethora of yeses. Yes to the invitation, yes to the experience, yes to the unpaid internship. Yes. You find it through a string of yeses, and stop being so scared. Like, stop letting fear run your life. So I'm going to end with this. My coach ET, he said something in one of our mastermind calls in the last couple of months that has really stuck with me, and I've been repeating to a lot of our clients, right? You know how people make decisions based on like what they can see, right? They're like, okay, I've been following Lisa for a long time. I love her energy. I love her attitude problem. But she do seem smart and like she know what she's talking about. I kind of want to work with her, but I done register, apply for her program, and she said it's gonna be this much money, and I don't see how I'm gonna make that work. You know how we make decisions based off what we can see. Y'all know that? Like we look at the numbers, like we look at our schedule, like, dang, she said they meet every Wednesday at 12, and I'm usually at work during that time. I don't see how it can happen. I don't see where I have the time. I don't see where I have the resources, right? And so the grave mistake that a lot of people make is they make the overwhelming majority of their decisions based off what they can see in front of them. ET said a couple months ago, don't let your reality become your reality. I was like, that's it, coach. Don't let your reality become your reality. So many of you are making so many decisions with your eyes open that you don't know how to navigate with your eyes closed. What happens when your eyes close? That's the imagination you should be entertaining. That's the visioning you should be doing, right? That's the visualization exercises that helps you to begin to think differently. You meditate with your eyes closed. You envision with your eyes closed. You imagine with your eyes closed. Start saying yes. Start saying yes with your eyes closed, because too many of you are allowing your reality to become your reality. Start saying yes with your eyes closed, and things will change for you. Okay. Because with your eyes open, all you see is your husband, your partner, your kids, all the responsibility. You just don't see how it's possible. When saying yes to this one thing could potentially unlock all of the freedom, all of the time, all of the resources that you need to change your whole life and get out of that groundhog safe, monotonous routine. If you want fulfillment, if you want more joy, if you want more excitement, if you want your life to be more dynamic, you got to start saying yes with your eyes closed. I didn't know how I was going to find a place to live in Italy. I didn't know how I was going to pay for that place to live. I also didn't know what I was going to do when that internship was over. But I said yes with my eyes closed. And then I cashed out my 401k. I'm like, shoot, I'm losing weight right now. I'm going to live a long time. We can rebuild this retirement fund. And that's how I funded Italy with my 401k. I'm like, in order to do that, I had to stop believing the things that everybody was telling me. Like, you put money into it and you never touch it. Like the scare stories, like, don't touch it, let it just build year over year. I'm like, but what if I can go crazy and make a ton of money and just like try quadruple it by taking this one chance on myself, right? And so I just had to make a decision with my eyes closed, and it has paid off tremendously. And so I have no doubt that it will for you. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. Start re-entertaining your imagination and start saying yes with your eyes closed. I hope this was helpful today, guys, and I hope that answered the question, how do I find my purpose? Hey, Regina said, that's it. Let me repeat that. Don't let your reality become your reality. Come on. ET be having them quotables, baby. Be having those quotables. I see Kat and Samba started following me on Instagram. Oh, I said something today. Got a new follower. We up. Mama made it. Thank y'all for that. And I think who else? Somebody just said something on YouTube. Love Bears All Gifts says, watching you on YouTube. Thank you, Lisa. Hey, thank you for being here. Come on now. What y'all saying on YouTube now? YouTube, Anthony said, oh my God, this is how I felt when I left Detroit for Japan in 1995. Game changer, man. Seeing the world will really change your life. I swear. Deatra, come on now. You know I'm talking to you, girl. Okay, so I'm glad it makes sense. Thank y'all for the comments. You know, we will be back here same time next Monday at 10 a.m. EST. Y'all might as well just put me like on your calendar. Just like put me on your calendar, like an appointment. Like, gotta go get my edges snatched every Monday at 10 EST. Just put it in there. That's my call to action for y'all today. Put me in your calendar. Edges snatched every Monday, 10 a.m. EST. That's it. That's all I got. I'm about to go do the rest of my work for the day. Love y'all. Bye.